Immanuel Quickley recently spoke out addressing not getting a contract extension with the New York Knicks. And if you watched the first game against the Boston Celtics, he put on a show and made a statement. Today on the Knicks Digest, myself and Chris are going to break down the exact statement that he said and what he might mean by this. All of this and so much more today. Me and Chris breaking it down on the Knicks Digest. Immanuel Quickley recently spoke out on his contract extension. Shout out to Fred Katz, by the way, from The Athletic, from reporting the following. He gave us the following information about what Immanuel Quickley said when he spoke out on not coming to terms with a contract extension with the New York Knicks. According to Fred Katz, at the end, this is what Immanuel Quickley said anyways. At the end of the day, business is always business. If both sides can't come to an agreement, it's nothing too much crazy with that. But like I said, I'm focused on getting better tomorrow, getting better the next day. And it's going to be like that the whole year. Shout out to Immanuel Quickley, man. This guy came to play last night against the Boston Celtics. And even after not getting that contract extension, something that motivates players to play better, he didn't need it because all the money he needed was his game. Chris, Immanuel Quickley was money against Boston. What do you think about his comments speaking about the fact that it's already over and now he's just focused on his game and improving?
Well, I mean, first things first, I think what you read into that is that Immanuel Quickley is a pure professional. He's always been this way. And you always, or not you specifically, but people always talk about giving a good, bad interview, which is when you're not going to give some huge inside scoop like maybe what James Harden did with Daryl Morey. We're looking at IQ just talking how this is strictly business. There's no anger, no hard feelings. And even if there were, it's nothing that he's going to go out there and show. What Quickley decided to do was to bet on himself and get as much money as he can next summer, whether it's from the Knicks or from another team in restricted free agency. And that's what he's going to do all year. He's going to play the best basketball that he could possibly play, try to make the most money possible, and through all of that, be a consummate professional. And that is how you secure your bag. That is exactly what Quickley has done. And so far, he's doing this perfectly. He easily had the best game of any Knick last night. And as of right now, I think he's the clear front runner for Sixth Man of the Year, Troy.
And that's the thing. That's what I wanted to mention. Malcolm Brogdon was on the Boston Celtics, now with Portland. Shout out to him. He had a great game with Portland yesterday. Obviously, Scoot didn't show up the way he needed to, so Brogdon filled in for some spots. But I think it's the race for Sixth Man of the Year is Quickley's to lose. And he's picked a great year to bet on himself. Because if he wins that Sixth Man of the Year award, if he was looking for around a $100 million contract, let's say that was the number that he wanted. If he gets Sixth Man of the Year, he's easily making more than that. 125, 130, whatever the cap dictates he's going to get. Whether that be from the Knicks or from another team. Because remember, Chris, the fact that the Knicks didn't sign him, he's now a restricted free agent. Now, the Knicks can match any offer given to him by any team next offseason, but that doesn't mean necessarily they're going to do so. I remember a lot of people telling me they're going to do that with Jeremy Lin. They didn't do that with Jeremy Lin. He walked to the Rockets. I'm not saying Immanuel Quickley is going to go that same route, but we know Dante DiVincenzo essentially is Quickley's replacement. So when you look at it from that perspective, the fact that they didn't pay him, the fact that he is betting on himself, and the fact that the Knicks already kind of have a lot of guards that can replace Quickley, what do you think this means in regards to the Knicks not giving Quickley a contract extension? Or maybe does it not mean anything? Is it just Quickley trying to get more money here?
I mean, I definitely think Quickley's trying to get the most money possible, and that because the playoffs did not work out in his favor, he essentially was never going to get offered the contract that he wanted. So he figured, let's bet on myself. The Knicks brought in Dante DiVincenzo. There's not going to be more competition for him internally with the New York Knicks than ever before in his career. And something to highlight is last season when Quickley started, I believe it was around 20 games, 22 games, he averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Teams that do not have a point guard are going to look at IQ, especially if he wins Sixth Man of the Year, like you were saying, and offer him around 130 next year. And if that's 130 over 5, 130 over 4, maybe a player option, something like that, maybe even, oh, they can't offer 5 years, excuse me. Completely wrong right there. But say they could offer him 4 years. Yeah, just absolutely forgot for a second. But yeah, say you're going to offer him like 130 over 4.
Yeah.
Say you're a team like the San Antonio Spurs, which could have money next season and does
Yeah.
not have a starting level point guard on their team with an up-and-coming roster with obviously Wembanyama, but also Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. You got great players on that team.
Yeah.
You could have cap space. I think it makes all the sense in the world to gamble on Immanuel Quickley and give him that money. And even if the Knicks match that, I don't know if they're going to be in the second curtain, but they're going to be dangerously close. So they're going to have to make some sort of move. Also because, as I know, you are not the biggest fan of this guard-heavy roster the Knicks have in the guard-heavy rotation. I don't completely disagree, but I do see where you come from, despite the fact that it doesn't fully bother me as much. But really, what you said is absolutely correct. There is so much competition. DiVincenzo being here is a reason for the Knicks to not match Quickley. It's a reason for them to just either trade him or just be okay with losing him. And I'll tell you something, I'm not okay with losing him. If the Knicks lose him in restricted free agency for nothing in return, that is absolute malpractice by Leon Rose and co. That is the worst thing that they could ever do as a front office. And certainly that would be the low light and potentially a fireable offense if the front office loses Quickley in restricted free agency because they did not want to give him $100 million last year.
See, the thing with Immanuel Quickley is, and I'll say it again, the Knicks, I get Quickley has value. I'm not saying he doesn't. The Knicks cannot pay Immanuel Quickley $100 million come off the bench. They already have Josh Hart with $81 million. To pay Immanuel Quickley $100 million to come off your bench, that doesn't make any sense. You can't get better that way. You cannot increase your roster. All these players we're talking about, Cat, right? Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, whether they come here in free agency or they come here via trade, you're going to need to move players, move pieces. So you need to make decisions now. I love Quick. I love Grimes. I love RJ Barrett. I want to win. And when you want to win, you need to upgrade your talent. I love the kids. You can't keep them all. Immanuel Quickley's replacement is here. If Quick shows out and earns $140 million, I don't know if the Knicks are going to match that. And to an extent, it hurts because you love Quick. I love Quick. But I can understand why the Knicks wouldn't match $140 million if they're looking to bring in Donovan Mitchell, who they feel is a better backcourt complement to Jalen Brunson than IQ is. Because we saw Tom Thibodeau run out there Immanuel Quickley and Jalen Brunson. If he's okay with running those two out there, he has to be okay running Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson out there. And if you had to ask Tom Thibodeau between the two, I'd probably think he'd go with Jalen and Donovan Mitchell. Because that backcourt, in terms of what they can do offensively, is explosive. And Donovan Mitchell is not no slouch on defense, even though he doesn't get touted as the best defender because he has to carry the load on offense all the time. But I think it's something to look at. If the Knicks are looking to make these moves, Chris, they cannot retain Immanuel Quickley. Certainly not for a $130 million contract.
Yeah, I don't disagree that I think, say they give Quickley 130, then you're giving Josh Hart 4 years, 81. I believe there's a team option on the third year, but still, like, it doesn't affect the free agency when
Correct.
Donovan Mitchell's going to be there. That goes past it. And then also you have Donte DiVincenzo getting 4 years, $50 million off the bench. That's a combined 260. That is a combined $260 million. You're giving Immanuel Quickley the same amount of money you're giving both Josh Hart and Donte DiVincenzo. Between Randall's extension that's going to happen, between Brunson's extension that's going to happen, between RJ's contract, Robinson's contract, and eventually paying Quentin Grimes, you're not going to be past that second curtain. You're going to have gone so far over the second curtain, they're going to have to create a third curtain for the Knicks. The Knicks curtain. So that's where we're at right now. I already think it was an issue that they did not re-sign him because now the options become limited for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for IQ. I hope that whatever happens, I hope that IQ's career works out tremendously. He's awesome. He's a great dude. But the Knicks are now in a hole right here, and they have to figure something out. They have to make some sort of trade sometime ever because, as you said, they can't keep all the kids. It's just not financially possible, let alone all the other things. The Knicks need to decide if they think they can contend with Boston and the Bucks within the next 3-4 years. Because just alone re-signing Julius Randle, you need to decide if you can do that. And if we're looking at that Embiid proposed trade where the Knicks would be willing to give up RJ, Randle, Mitchell Robinson, That's cutting cap space so you could also go out there and try to sign Donovan Mitchell if you acquire Embiid. If you're going to give Immanuel Quickley that money while also having Hart and DiVincenzo getting that money, bringing in Joel Embiid's, 4 years, $200-something million, 15-ish, I think 216, something like that, you're still not able to afford Donovan Mitchell. So right now the Knicks are in a spot where basically their options have become so limited. I have no idea what's going to happen with Quickley. I'm completely lost. I was convinced there was going to get a deal done, and there just wasn't. It flamed out in the final few days, it felt like. What do you think? Do you have any final remarks?
For me personally, I don't think a deal gets done. One of my favorite NBA insiders, Ian Bagley, and we'll close out the show with this, basically said that in terms of Immanuel Quickley, he does not believe that Immanuel Quickley will be in a New York Knicks jersey come next season. And I love a lot of the NBA insiders that I speak to, a lot of the people that I get a chance to speak with. Ian Bagley, by far, is somebody that I trust, and his word especially, to the highest degree. So, folks, Chris, if Ian Bagley is saying it, I believe it. We may love Immanuel Quickley. We may want him to be a New York Knick for years. But the unfortunate part is, I don't see that happening. But what about you guys? Do you guys think Immanuel Quickley is going to stay as a New York Knick? Is he going to play himself into a contract that the Knicks are going to pay him? Or will he walk away for nothing? Let me and Chris know in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't really know what you're doing. We promised you duos. We got duos. We're about to come with Dariel soon. Get trios. We're blowing up. The channel is skyrocketing. You got to get on the ship right now, because if we're too high, you're going to get left behind. So subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on. Check out all the videos that we got coming out for you guys. And until next time, me and Chris for the Knicks Digest, we're out of here.
Signing off, guys.
Later. Peace.